these are some big steps.
All right, all the way to the top. Here we go.
Big ass steps, people.
There we go. Nikki Villavicencio is climbing the stairs at the Capitol. For what reason? To commemorate the ADA 30th anniversary of the signage. And still, access is an issue for some of us. Some of us do overcome, and some of us do adapt and resist.
Sorry about the
I think Nikki was kind of fibbing when she told us it would take her a half hour, and she's already up there, and it hasn't even taken her 2 minutes.
Well, these aren't too steep, luckily. I'll probably take a break halfway.
Take a break halfway. I mean, you only got a couple stairs to go.
I'm about halfway. Allie, can you give me some water? No, I'm not halfway. Only went up one, two.
Which one?
Which one is mine? That one, yeah. You don't need to shake the water.
I'm not a good singer like you are, Nikki. I don't sing
Ask
that.
Ellie
I don't want to sing that song about the tree.
Yes, you are.
You want to try it out?
Tyler!
Oh, careful! Allie! Sorry, Tyler.
How old are you?
22.
How old are you, Tyler?
32.
Good.
10 years, man.
That's way old, Tyler.
No. Just
So, hey, Tyler, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right. That's a cute little sign on your back there, Nikki.
Yep.
I think you should wear that after dark and put some glow in the dark paint on it or something.
Give me some elbow.
See ya.
And these guys, they're filming clips about 1 or 2 minute videos about masks and the importance of wearing masks.
The importance of wearing masks.
Yeah.
While also wearing fast
Say
suits and
something
wigs.
in the
Yeah.
microphone.
It's kind of a, yeah, they're doing a kind of a spoof, funny,
Sing the song, Allie.
fun stuff
We
there.
are fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved. We are fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved. Just like the tree.
We are fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved. We are fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved.
Just like
The tree that rose upon the mountain. We shall not be moved.
See, you got good rhythm.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Let's do some feedback.
the people. Do that one.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
Look at it, look at this. We're not even practicing social distancing.
Get your mask
part.
on.
I got mine on now.
That's good.
La 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 la.
Hey, look at that.
ADA.
Nikki thought she didn't have to wear hers because she
Ha
didn't
ha ha ha.
I'm
Wah ha
got
ha
more
ha.
than 6 feet from you guys.
Wah ha ha ha. Wah ha 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 ha.
Cheers.
That's good.
Nikki Villavicencio is climbing the Capitol stairs
And why did she do that?
because it's ADA. And yeah, she's almost to the top, people.
Okay, well, let's go on.
Americans with Disabilities change everything. Okay, now. Hey, I was born with cerebral palsy. This is Jennifer Keelan Chaffins, I was born with cerebral palsy, which means that I use a wheelchair to help me get around every day. From a young age, I learned that buses, museums, libraries, and even schools that were accessible to my able-bodied peers were not accessible to me because there were no wheelchair ramps. Imagine not being able to join in with your friends because you can't get into the building where they're meeting. I felt left out and did not like being separated from everyone, especially my younger sister Kaylee. As my family and I realized that people with disabilities were not treated equally as able-bodied people, we decided to join the disability rights movement to help change things for the better. I participated in my very first protest in Phoenix, Arizona in 1987 when I was 6 years old. This was the first time I saw other people with disabilities protesting for their right to be recognized as equals. I think you can just hold it once, right? Hello? Yeah. I didn't know quite what to think, but after carefully observing the adults at this protest, both my sister and I realized that people with disabilities had the right to be treated like everyone else, and that Kaylee and I did not have to be separated. As one of the very few young children who got to be closely involved in the disability rights movement, I recognized that I had a very important responsibility placed upon me. I wasn't just representing myself, I was also representing my generation and future generations of children with disabilities who also felt left out as they struggled for the same rights as everyone else. It was this responsibility that led me to participate in a big protest called the Capitol Crawl, a decision that a lot of people say helped convince Congress to pass an important law for disability rights movement, the Americans with Disabilities Act. I hope that by sharing my story, kids everywhere will see that you don't have to be a grown-up to make a difference. If you believe in something, say it loud for everyone to hear. The passing of the Americans with Disability Act was a big win for the disability rights movement. But we still have a long way to go. And I keep using my voice to speak up speak up for what I think is right. You can too. So Jennifer Keelan may be small, but her voice is mighty. Yeehaw! Snowball responds, speeding up from a walk to a trot. Jennifer loves to go fast, but she knows she'll soon have less time for writing since she finally is old enough to go to school. She can't wait to make new friends. She's ready to go. Go! Thank you. The school's not far. Jennifer rolls outside, down the sidewalk to the corner. But stop! A 4-inch curve is a cliff to someone who uses a wheelchair. Her grandpa eases her wheelchair over the curve protests in Phoenix, roams through streets in San Francisco, waves signs in Montreal. The demonstrations don't always change people's minds, but Jennifer is used to that. Even when her neighborhood school finally agrees she can attend, she and her classmates with disabilities aren't allowed to eat in the cafeteria with everyone else. That hurts, but she keeps going. Okay, next one.
Okay, next page.
Working with other activists revs her up. Yet she can't help noticing that she and her sister are usually the only kids out there raising their voices. Still, she can't leave all the protesting to the grown-ups. She knows firsthand that children with disabilities get ignored too. So she keeps speaking up. Disability rights now.
Disability rights now!
When Jennifer is 8, activists propose a new law called Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. The law insists schools, governments, and businesses make room for all people, including those with disabilities. Jennifer feels like dancing. If it passes, it means sidewalks with curb cuts, buildings with ramps in addition to steps, and elevators with braille panels. It means Jennifer and her classmates with disabilities can finally go to the cafeteria with everyone else for lunch.
Yeah.
Jennifer and her family watch the news for updates on the EDA, but reporters never mention it. She switches off the TV in frustration, wishing she could change reporters' minds on what's worth talking about. Instead, the Keelans get their updates about the ADA when her activist friends call. It's bad news. Members of Congress say the law will be too complicated and too expensive. They say it's just not worth it. Since the news station is ignoring people with disabilities, Jennifer and her friends are determined to find another way to make Congress hear their voices. It's go time. Her family buys plane tickets to Washington, D.C.
Go! It's go time.
As they march down Pennsylvania Avenue, Jennifer has never shouted louder. What do we want? The ADA. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
The ADA! When do we want it? Now!
Finally, they reach the U.S. Capitol, but stop! A mountain of steps block Jennifer and other people using wheelchairs from the building where Congress makes laws. Grown-ups slide out of their wheelchairs and start pulling themselves up the steps. They will make sure members of Congress know they are here. Jennifer's heart races. This is what she's been shouting about. I want to climb the steps, she says. But stop! The grown-ups think you're too young. You can't do it. Jennifer knows that this is not just about her. It's about her friends at school who were shut out of the cafeteria at lunch. It's about millions of other kids she never met who got stopped at every turn. Jennifer wants to speak up for all the kids with disabilities who aren't there. I need to climb the steps.
Need to climb the steps.
She slides out of her wheelchair, scoots along the sidewalk to the bottom of the stairway, and puts her hands on the first step. She hauls herself up. Tiny bits of dirt and rock dig into her skin. She drags herself up the step. The crowd roars. Reporters surround her with cameras and microphones recording her gutsy climb. I'll take all night if I have to, she vows, and she keeps heaving and hauling and dragging herself up those steps. And she keeps going, all the way to the top.
All the way to the top. And this is like a newspaper. And Mom's going to read it. Making little sense,
Forgot your name. Pictures of Jennifer climbing the steps flash around the world. Reporters start talking about the ADA. Members of Congress see the news, listen to the activists, and finally pass the ADA.
Pass the ADA! The crowd goes wild.
change things overnight. Entrance to have to be rebuilt, sidewalks redesigned, buses re-engineered. Slowest of all, minds have to change. So Jennifer will continue shouting and waving signs, organizing and explaining. She will continue fighting for what she knows is right. Jennifer has a place to go.
And say that.